Hey guys, my name is Juliana and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to show you the Convention on Salvage. The Convention on Salvage was written in 1910, so it's a long time ago, but I think it is still the most relevant conventions of all the conventions regarding search and rescue. And if you stay tuned, you will figure out why. So let's get right into the Convention for the Unification of Certain Rules with respect to assistance and salvage at sea from 1910. Alright, let's go back in time. Salvage can be traced back all the way to the 17th century. Even then, sailors were granted a reward for saving ships in distress as well as the cargo on board. Of course, this made coming to the rescue of ships a lucrative business model. Therefore, soon fleets of salvage companies started to flood the market. With the rise of insurance and salvage companies, the maritime world experienced an immense growth as shipping industry became a year-round business. Having an insurance on a ship, as well as someone to commercially save your cargo in case that things went south, meant that shipping companies could take more risks and push their business. Though this often resulted in more wrecks, which didn't matter much due to the insurance taken up previously. So, what is salvage? Basically, any ship or cargo rescued, which would have been lost otherwise, is considered salvage. In case of abandoned ship or cargo, anyone could come along and claim the salvage, which means anything you could find and later possibly sell. However, the cargo of the salvaged ship did not automatically belong to those who found it. The cargo could be claimed by the owner at any time after if he paid the salvors a reward fee. The fee could not exceed the value of the salvage materials themselves, which meant that the owners didn't make a loss on the goods even if their profits were greatly reduced, if they made any at all. In case the ship was abandoned, the salvors could keep the ship if they managed to save it. But if the owner later came for his cargo, they'd have to hand it over in exchange for the reward. Of course, if the owner never showed, you could just keep the ship and the cargo. Let's skip forward a couple of hundred years and look at the 20th century. Until this time, there was no specific law requiring a rescuer to act as a salvor. Actually, there wasn't even a law that required sailors to come to the aid of persons in distress at all. Of course, it was considered good seamanship to assist ships in distress, but not actually legally binding. This all changed in 1910. For the first time in history, captains were required by law to help ships in distress. On this day, 25 nations came together to sign the Convention for the Unification of Certain Rules of Law regarding assistance and salvage at sea. This is a monumentally important day in history because this is the foundation upon which all other conventions in the future will base their assistance at sea laws upon. But remember, we're still in the 20th century, so if there are lives to be saved, that also means that there's a ship and probably very precious goods which are worth something to someone out there. Well, if you're already there to save persons, you might as well try to save the ship or at least the cargo and receive the salver's reward for it. Of course, the reward was attached to some requirements. In order to receive a salvage reward, the salvage had to be successful, which means you had to save the ship or at least the cargo to qualify for the reward. Just saving the crew was not enough to qualify for the reward. The reward then took into consideration the time and the labor of the sailors who prevented the disaster. But if in the end they did not save the ship nor the cargo, there would be no reward, even if many lives were saved in the process. This became known as no cure, no pay. This presented the world with a completely new and unforeseen environmental problem. Although this basic philosophy worked well in most cases, it did not take pollution into account. A salver who prevented a major pollution incident, for example by towing a damaged tanker away from an environmentally sensitive area, but did not manage to save the ship or the cargo, got nothing. Therefore, there was little incentive for a salver to undertake an operation which had only a slim chance of success. The 1989 Convention on Salvage seeks to remedy this deficiency by making provisions for an enhanced salvage award, taking into account the skill and efforts of the salvors in preventing or minimizing damage to the environment. So no matter which convention you will read or which regulations you will read, they will all contain a passage from this original convention written in 1910. And that was Convention on Salvage. If you like this video, please leave a thumbs up and make sure that you subscribe to this channel. My name is Juliana, and thank you guys for watching.